Today's Edison format deck profile, Gravekeepers. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be going through a Gravekeeper deck profile for Edison format, which is a pretty beloved archetype. I know a lot of people loved it in GOAT format. I know a lot of people really like it in Edison format as well too. So without further ado, why don't we go ahead and jump right on in. Alright guys, and kicking off the deck, we have probably one of the best Gravekeeper monsters. So we have 3 copies of Gravekeeper's Spy, which is pretty much going to be our recruiter. So it's a flip effect monster, lets you special summon 1 Gravekeeper monster with 1500 or less attack from the deck. So it helps you kind of build up a little bit more of a wall there. Not only that, with 2k defense, it's a pretty solid defender. So moving on, we have 3 copies of our Gravekeeper's Descendant. Now he's going to be non-targeting removal for monsters. Or no, actually it's actually just for 1 card, not even monsters. So you can tribute 1 Gravekeeper monster you control and destroy 1 card your opponent controls. Not just monster like I initially thought. So pretty solid for removal on the field. So you got 3 copies of him, 1500 attack, level 4. Not too bad, you know, for Gravekeepers. I mean, obviously they're going to be getting their boost anyways, but yeah, not too bad at all. 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Assailant. Just yeah, shift your opponent's battle position. So not too bad, not too bad. So 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Assailant. I think we might have had 3 in the GOAT format one, so some things do shift around with cards getting released, you know, later down the pipeline. Then we have 2 copies of Gravekeeper's Guard, another classic that we've seen before in our GOAT format deck profile. So he's going to flip target 1 monster your opponent controls, return that target to the hand. So pretty solid for getting some of those problem cards, you know, out of the way. Now things like, I don't know, Caius, you probably don't want to give your opponent back into the hand, but hey, there's a slew of other monsters that you would like to get off of the field, maybe some synchros or what have you. So 2 copies, Gravekeeper's Guard. Now moving on, this is a newer one compared to the GOAT format deck profile, and one that I'm still waiting on a 3rd copy of because that's coming in the mail, but I figured I'd go ahead anyways because you guys get the gist of it. So we have 3 copies of Gravekeeper's Commandant, not Commandment, because there's no other M. So Commandant. So with him, you can discard him to get a copy of Necro Valley straight from your deck. So pretty good for kind of turboing out Necro Valley from your deck and shutting off the graveyard for your opponent. So you're going to be running 3 copies of Commandant. Moving on, another newer one, we have Gravekeeper's Visionary. So he's kind of like a boss monster, I guess you could say, in the deck. So you can normal summon him by tributing 1 Gravekeeper monster. Then he gains 200 attack for each Gravekeeper monster in the graveyard. So not too bad, especially starting off at 2000 attack. Now if he would be destroyed on the field, you can discard Gravekeeper instead. So hey, keep him on the field a little bit longer. If he gets destroyed. Not only that, when you're discarding a Gravekeeper, helps boost his attack up a little bit as well too. So, like I said, he's kind of like the boss monster of the deck, if you don't include, you know, the extra deck and whatnot. So coming up, we have 1 copy of Sangan, followed by 2 copies of Mystic Tomato, since so many of the Gravekeepers are dark. So kind of turbo out to that a little bit quicker. Then we have our 1 copy of Caius, because, hey, it is Edison format, so you might as well be playing the big bad 1 tribute monster himself, Caius the Shadow Monarch. And then we have our 1 copy of Gale the Whirlwind, because it's a good tuner. Pretty universal as well, too. So 1 copy of him. Next up, we have 2 copies of Necro Valley. If I were to have a side deck, that's where I put the 3rd one. But I think 2 is pretty solid as is. But hey, it's kind of up to you guys if you wanted to play 3, by all means. But I kind of figured with Commandant, we're able to get to it a little bit quicker, so I like just having the 2. Next up, we have 3 copies of Gravekeepers Stele, because I believe that's how you say it. So with this, you can select 2 Gravekeeper monsters in your graveyard and add them back to your hand, regardless of Necro Valley being on the field, which is pretty good advantage, especially when your opponent can't be doing the same thing with any of their effects, but hey, you can do it with your Gravekeepers Stele. Unless you're playing a mirror match. Then they can do it, unfortunately. Next up, we got 2 copies of Book of Moon. You can use it as defensive against your opponent, or you can flip your guard or your spy back face down. So it's kind of up to you in that regard. Next up, 1 copy of Allure of Darkness, just so we can get a little bit of draw power going on with our deck. Then we have 1 copy of Heavy Storm, 1 copy of Mystical Space Typhoon, and 1 copy of our Brain Control. A classic one. Now next up, moving on to the traps, we have our 2 copies of Rite of Spirit. So you can target 1 Gravekeeper monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and it is unaffected by Necro Valley. So, pretty good. Kind of like a Call the Haunted Monster Reborn, but this doesn't have to stay on the field. And you can still play it even if Necro Valley is on the field. So, pretty good, pretty good. Next up, we have the classic Trap Dust Shoot. I mean, it kind of fits the theme anyways, with it being from Pharaonic Guardian for its first print. But hey, getting that hand knowledge from your opponent, one of those things that helps you win the game. Moving on, we have our 1 copy of Deck Devastation Virus, because the name holds true. It is very devastating to your opponent and pretty much help destroy all their combos they might be having. Not only that, you also get to gain the advantage again of what's going on their side of the field and what's in their hand and whatnot. So 1 copy of Deck Dev, followed by 1 copy of Torrential Tribute, always a solid classic. 1 copy of Mirror Force, followed by a copy of Solemn Judgment, because it is always fun to just say no to your opponent. Then we have our 1 copy of Starlight Road. I mean, your opponent's probably going to be trying to play Heavy Storm against your Necro Valley or anything else you have in the back row, so Starlight Road's a good one to keep back there. And then we have 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole, just for a little bit extra removal. Now the extra deck is going to be your generic Edison format extra deck. We're playing Brain Control, so we can take tuners from our opponent. We do have Gale in our deck as well too. And we have Starlight Road, so because of that, I'm playing 2 copies of Stardust. Might as well. One's for Starlight Road, one's for actually Synchro Summoning. That's the way I kind of look at it. So 2 copies of him, followed by a copy of Ally of Justice Catastor, followed by a copy of Red Dragon Archfiend, a copy of Thought Ruler Archfiend, 1 Magical Android, a Blackwing Armor Master, a Black Rose Dragon, an Armory Arm, an Arcanite Magician, since we do have some spellcasters in there. 1 copy of Colossal Fighter, a copy of Goyo Guardian, 1 copy of Brio, and then we have our Revived King Hadas and Doom Kaiser Dragon, just because we are playing Brain Control, so hey, you might be able to get your opponent's Plague Spreader if they're trying to play defensive and just get a wall up. So I kind of figured, why not? I mean, you can put in anything you really want. I would say probably switching these 2 out for maybe like a Chimera Attack Mega Fleet. If you're actually playing a tournament, you have Cyber Dragon in your side deck. I'd say it'd probably be the best route. But like I said, I kind of just toss these in right now for a little bit of a placeholder, and you never really know what might happen in a duel. So there you have it, you guys. That is the Gravekeeper Edison format deck. Now, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you go about this, like any deck ever in existence. This is the way that I prefer it. It's a build that I found from E3, so of course be sure to check him out if you want to see it actually played. But who knows, I might be putting up a playtesting video soon, because I do love Gravekeepers. It's one that I always loved since I was a kid. Clearly with the GOAT format one as well, too. But hey, give me your thoughts down below. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as well too. And of course, be sure to check out the links down below as well. Check out rpkgaming.com. Be sure to check out the TCG player link down below as well too. So it helps the channel more than you could possibly know. We will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye. And good night.